Here we go. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me for our online workshop. So, we didn't have one in June. I just couldn't make it work with my vacation schedule. But our last one was the end of May. So now we've got our July one. And fingers crossed, I will have my stuff together and we'll get one done in August as well. Because I love to connect and craft with you, right? So, I'm just so excited that you're here with me. So, we are doing our Sunrise Sailing online workshop. It's about 11:33 a.m. Eastern time here where I'm at. And again, we've got amazing crafters tuning in from all over, and I love that. I love that we get to connect and create together no matter where we live. So much fun. Okay, so if you're new to me and new to this, what are we doing today, right? This workshop is all about sharing our love and joy of paper crafting, right? We're going to relax, we're going to have some fun. Um, and it's scientifically proven that as you're crafting, you release those natural endorphins, which are good for you, right? Yay. And to me, my favorite part is that we get to spread our joy with others, right? Just by sending a hand stamped card, right? So today we're going to create three fantabulous cards. I'm going to show you those in just a minute. Let's see, if you don't know me, I am Wendy Lee. Welcome. You can find me at creativelyyours.com, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I've been a demonstrator for, let's see, over 22 years now. And I've been full-time since November of 2019, which is not common, right? Not a lot of people do that. I am married to a very wonderful and supportive man. I have two amazing grown children and two of the cutest granddaughters ever, right? Sassy, fun, love it, love it. So Arlie is 8 and Bonnie is 4. Oh my goodness, they're growing up too fast. So I love what I do, and I especially love sharing it with you. So let's see, how do I serve my community? I do everything from online events like this to card clubs to private parties, in-person gatherings, although I don't do a lot of in-person gatherings. I will say that I used to, and I've moved more online now because then I can connect with more of you, right? When I do host an in-person event, I bring all the supplies, I teach the techniques, the projects, and the host keeps the samples that I make. It's fun and it's simple. We have a good time. That's what it's all about. But even virtually, like today, I love that we still get to connect and create together, right? All right, let's see. Let me check some of the comments. Good, good, good. Oh, yay. Excellent. So you're going to find links, a link posted already for the supply list for today's project. So it's going to give you everything that I'm using on that. As we work along the projects, I'm going to tell you measurements. So you can write those down, take your notes, cut as you want to. I will probably go faster than you will be able to go to craft 100% along with me, but feel free to craft with me, right? If you want the PDF instructions, we'll talk about that in just a moment on how to get those. You're going to want to have your catalog, or even better yet, the online store pulled up so that as I'm talking about things, if there's something that catches your eye, you can add that to your cart or put it on a sticky note, notepad, whatever is best for you. Because you might see something that you've not seen before and that you're like, I might need to add that to my list. Of course, use what's in your crafty stash, right? You don't have to use the products that I'm using today. You can take these same layouts and the things that we're talking about and use what you have at home, okay? So I do have a order special, so let's talk about those goodies. So for those attending, I have a US option and an international option because I don't want to leave out my international friends. So, of course, you can only order from me through my Stampin' Up! Store if you're in the US, right? Because I'm in the US and that's the way things work. So, when you place a $35 or order, $35 purchase, woo, or greater. Now, this is before shipping and tax and after you've done all your discounts and all that fun stuff. And you have until Monday, July 14th, to do this, to qualify for this workshop. So, it started yesterday, right, when I posted the special. And it goes all the way through till the end of the day, Monday. So you're going to get a hand stamped card from me as a little thank you and the PDF tutorial for all of the projects that we're making today. Now, if you spend $50, if your purchase goes up to $50 or greater, you're also going to get the cut kit, right? So I cut up all the supplies and I will mail them to you for each of the projects we're making. And you're also going to get the July Florals in Bloom All-Star Video Class Tutorial Bundle as my gift, right? That is an amazing bundle. If you've not seen that one before, it is a collaboration. I am a group of 12, or in a group of 12 amazing global demonstrators, and they're all video tutorials, and the projects are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Now, you can also purchase the All-Star tutorial bundles in my PDFs tutorial store on my website, creativeleeyours.com. We do also have registration open for the next 6 months of tutorials where you pay for five and get one free. So just wanted to make sure you know that. And a reminder, of course, when you place an order in my online store, you're automatically going to receive 10% cash back in Stampin' Rewards. Well, it's Stampin' Rewards, Stampin' Cash, right? It's not money in your pocket, but it's money in your online store that you can spend at any time. So all you have to do is hit $20 or more and have opted into the rewards program. No host codes needed anymore. Yay! So happy about that. So happy about that. Now, for my international friends, because you cannot purchase products from me, I don't want you to miss out. So if you spend $35 or greater in my tutorial store, I will also send you the PDF for today's workshop. If you spend $50 or greater, you're going to also get that All-Star Video Class tutorial bundle. So yay, 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 yay. And again, that offer's valid through Monday, July 14th. So if you're placing orders and you need a hard copy of the catalog, although the online store is the better place to be, I know I still like to sit and snuggle with my catalog, but you don't see all the goodies. Most of the stuff is in the online store, so we got to get used to that. I'm still learning as well. But if you want a printed copy of the catalog, let me know. All right, project time. Should we switch the camera over and get started? I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes. So I'm going to walk you again. I'm going to walk you through each project, and I'll share some additional information as we go. And if you've got questions, please let me know. All right. Should we switch over? Let's switch the camera over. And let's keep our fingers crossed my video behaves. All right. Yay. All right. So give me just a moment to make sure my setup is all good to go. We'll put some lights on. Okay. Hopefully we'll connect with a microphone that will give us some better sound. All right, can everybody hear me and see me okay? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up or something. Say in the comments. Good, good, good. Yes? All right. Double checking. There's quite the delay. All right, good. Everybody says yes. Excellent. I'm going to go with you guys. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. Okay, so again, we are featuring the Sunrise Sailing stamp set from Stampin' Up. Now, this is one of our online exclusives. You're not going to see this in any of our printed catalogs. Now, this is available in a bundle with a hybrid embossing folder. So anytime you see a hybrid embossing folder in the store, and you look at that price point and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a really expensive embossing folder. Well, because it comes with a set of dies as well. So anytime it's a hybrid, it has both your dies and your embossing folder. And if you're not familiar with a hybrid embossing folder, that means that you can use this by itself and emboss it just like you would, dry emboss it, or there is a coordinating die in each one of them, and sometimes it's more than one, that fits into the folder. Now, these folders are designed for this, so it's not going to damage this embossing folder because it's made to do this. You're going to find they're thicker, and just amazing, just amazing. I love it. I just love that. So you can use the dies by themselves, the folder by itself, together, save some time and do it all at once. So many cool things. Lots of great sentiments. Love the fonts. This stamp set, in my opinion, is great for guys and gals. So let me show you what we're going to be actually creating today. So we're going to create 3 cards, fantabulous cards actually. So there's the first one, the second one, and the third one. Now, I did a 4th one for my team. So these are my team meeting make and take. So every month, I offer my team the option to participate in a make and take. And it typically is a 4-card class that they can use for personal use, or they can use in their own business, however they need to use it, right? It's just fun stuff, right? So let me go ahead and pull out supplies for this first project and let's get started, shall we? I'm going to end up making a huge mess as we go, which is normal. Oh, I should also say, I am pulling in the Neutrals Designer Series paper pack. So let me just pull out a couple sheets of this. So we have the paper packs in every single one of our color families, which I love. And yeah, I love that. And this year, I love the prints. So on one side, we've got this kind of a spacey sky type splattery print. And then you've got this watercolored stripe that I love. So these are the two I'm going to be using on today's project. However, look at the box. So you've got this leafy image, and then you've got this floral as well, which I think is fantabulous. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I hope that you guys love these as well. And I've chosen the neutrals because you can add any pop of color with the neutral color palette. But I think these projects would look great with any of our color families of designer series paper. But that's what I'm using for our projects today. Yeah, Gloria, I agree. I think it's beautiful paper. I see someone said they lost the signal, but I think we're okay. It might blip in and out here and there. Sometimes Facebook is a little testy, but you know how that can go. All right. So again, I will read off measurements as I go. If I forget, please let me know. So I'm starting off here. I've got a piece of designer series paper and I have cut this. Let me double check. 3.5 by 4 3/4. Now, because this is 6-inch paper, I ended up with this strip right here at the end of my 6-inch piece. So I am saving that strip for the inside of my project. So it is, let's see, 1 1/4 tall. Now, if you didn't want it this tall, you could always trim that down. But I wanted you to know how I use this because sometimes we struggle a little bit with 6x6 paper. Now, I've got a white layer that I am going to adhere this to, but I'm doing a little bit of paper saving. So I've pulled in my party banner dies. Who else loves these? Oh my gosh, I love these. Look at all the amazing sizes that you get in this die set. You've got your holes, your reinforcements, you can make banners, you can do scrapbooks, you can make 3D items with it. I am loving this one. Loving, loving, loving this one. Super excited about this. So I've die cut 2 banners using that. And one of them, the white one, I cut right out of my layer because I'm going to cover it up. You're never going to see that. So why waste another piece of paper, right? That's my opinion. Okay, so let's pull in our card base. So we are doing a Secret C card base. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to fold this in half. So just a half a sheet of paper. So I am imperial measurements. So those of us that are joining us globally and you use metric, I did not convert. But if you are having any issues with measurements, let me know and I can help you with those. Okay. So I've got these 2 layers and I'm just going to adhere this together. And then I'm going to put it right down on my card base, right? So I'm using my Stampin' Seal. I'm a Stampin' Seal gal, right? Like I like the double-sided tape runner much better than liquid glue. Although I use liquid glue too, because there's a time and place, and we will use it today, but it is not my preference. I am more of a Stampin' Seal gal. So everybody has their own personal preference, and you can do what makes sense. Okay, it's going in and out. Okay. Is that happening for everyone or just a few of you? Because you may need to refresh your screen, refresh your browser. I'm going to hold just a moment and see, because I know we've got quite the delay. Okay, others are saying good. Okay, no problem. Okay, so I'm going to say that if you're having any issues with sound or video, refresh your browser because Facebook can be a little bit testy with a live stream. So, all right, so there we go. Now, I put this on a Secret C card base, but you know what? I just realized I think the original was actually on Night of Navy. Doesn't it look like it? Yeah, I think I put the original on Night of Navy, and this one I put on Secret C. But that's fine. We can mix and match those colors and give shades of blue. I'm going to do my stamping in Secret C, so I think that's kind of fun to mix and match that a little bit as well. All right, so we've got our banners. I'm going to keep those aside for now. Let's bring in our layer that we're going to stamp on. So I've got a piece of basic white. Let's see. It is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And we're going to stamp and create our boat. Okay. So let me grab my inks. So as I said, I'm going to start off with Secret Sea. Now, if you wanted to do Night of Navy so that your blue matched your designer series paper, you could totally do that. That's fine. And I'm going to ink up this stamp. Now, sometimes this is too big for my hands, and my arthritis won't let me do it. So you can always take your ink pad to your stamp if your block is too big, if your image is too big. Now, with photopolymer, if you don't get a good stamped image on these large images, when you are stamping, like sometimes you miss a spot. Like sometimes the middle will create a hole and you just can't get it to stamp. Try putting a foam like pierce mat underneath it. I don't have one handy. Now that I've switched to using my glass mat, there's enough of a give that I've not actually had to use that pad, which is kind of nice, right? All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm bringing in my real red ink pad. Okay. And I am going to stamp some fill image, which is the sail. And you know, this isn't exact. So you gotta give it a little leeway. It's not perfectly filled in, it's stylized. Is that a good way to say it? Does that make sense to you guys? So don't overthink it. It'll go fine. And then while I've got my red ink out, I'm going to stamp Ahoy to the right of my banner here that I cut out, this little white banner. I'm going to just set that aside. Okay. And then we want to stamp in our boat and fill that boat image in. All right. So I'm bringing in my pecan pie ink pad. Now, I stamped the original full strength, okay, in the pecan pie. But let's do some stamping off. Do you guys stamp off very often? So anytime you want to create a lighter shade of your ink, it's almost like having 2 or 3 ink pads in one. So you can stamp full strength. You can stamp it a second time and it's lighter. Stamp it a third time and it's lighter, even lighter. So you can get 3, or you can keep going if you wanted to. But it gets a little too late for me and I like to see it. So let's stamp off once instead of going full strength on this one. There we go. And see, I didn't get it perfectly in the line, but it's okay, right? It's still very pretty. And who knows how that's supposed to be? It's handmade. No complaints from me. All right, so now we're going to take our coordinating die, although I'm not sure where I put it. There it is. Perfect. Okay, so this is the coordinating die. So we're going to die cut this bad boy out. And it gives us this. I don't like to die cut on camera. We will today. We'll die cut some, but I will avoid as much of it as possible because I just don't like to do that on camera. I don't know why, really, to be honest with you. All right, so now we're going to bring our boat in, and I'm going to use this as a guide. I'm not going to adhere this down yet. I'm going to kind of decide where I want it to be. Okay. And then let's add a little bit of adhesive to our red banner here. This is real red cardstock. And I'm going to slide this in. And I want this to fall so that it's aligning to the mast. Is that the right way to say that? Of my boat, as well as the top of my boat. I want it to look like it just falls right in behind. Cute? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to put my little white banner on there. So I am going to pop this up with some dimensionals. So let's grab some dimensionals here. Brand new sheet. I love a new sheet of dimensionals. Who else does, right? There's something that just makes me happy about brand new Stampin' Dimensionals. Now you see mine are colored on the back. I use a highlighter and color those. And that way I can easily see that my backing papers are removed. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I do that. Now I'm going to tuck this in. I want it to overlap the red banner, and I want it to tuck in right behind that sail. Let's see if we can get it straight. Maybe. There we go. I'm pretty pleased with that. So now we can go ahead and just put this one down right on our card base here. So we'll do this. And this might be a little big for that, but I'm going to try to squeeze in two on this bottom here. And then you know what? I am going to bring in a little liquid glue just in case that overlaps that banner, and it will tack it down then. Then I won't have to worry about any loose bits. Yeah, I like the partial banners as well, right? They're kind of fun. Just a different way to use it. So now I can easily put this back where I had it, right? Because I had it all perfectly lined up there. Cute, right? I got a little nautical feel going on. You can do this in any color. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Any occasion, right? Now I'm pulling in the Opal Rounds assortment, which has the clear, the yellow, and the blue. So I'm going to pull in some of our blue, little blue dots here. And we'll just sprinkle on a couple up here. And why not add one down at the bottom? You can add the big one, the little one, whatever makes your heart happy. Yes? You guys like it? Yay! Yay, 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 yay. Have you used these banners yet? I love them. Absolutely love them. Now I've got another piece of basic white that's the same size as the front. If I didn't tell you the size before, it is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. But this one I didn't cut the hole out of because I don't want to see that on the inside of my project. Now I've got my leftover piece of designer series paper cut off the bottom of this. Again, if you wanted this narrower, you could totally trim that down. I'm going to just use it as is. The width of that is not important. That for me, what's important is to bring that design to the inside, which I think really makes a handmade card extra special. I mean, it's special already because we took the time to make it for somebody, but adding those little details like that, I think really elevates our projects and puts a smile on the recipient's face, right? Wouldn't that make you feel good? Now, you could add a sentiment to the inside if you wanted to. I left this blank because I can use this for anything, right? Ahoy, great. Totally could use this for anything. So project one is done. I hope you guys like this. Yeah, right now you're just watching. That's perfect, Gloria, because now you can take notes and then, adjust as you want to as you work on your projects, right? I love that. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so the second one we're going to create is this one here. Now, I love this because it's a white card, and I am a big fan of a white on white card. Now, you could change this boat up and make it any color. So you've got this whole stack of neutral papers that you can use, or you could bring in any color family, right? Any colors would work for this. And I love that the designer paper really gave me some texture. So let's do a little paper piecing with this one. So I'm bringing in a thick basic white card base. So this one's 5.5 by 8.5, just a half a sheet of cardstock, just like we did on the first one. I'm gonna fold this in half. Typically I would pre-score thick white. I didn't this time and I got a little smooge on it, but that's okay. Let me give that a good crease with my folder. But typically I would pre-score thick white. I don't always on my other cardstocks, but for some reason on the thick white, I do like to pre-score that if I can remember to do so. Purple is perfect. I agree. I agree with you, Lois. You say Lois, right? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it properly. All right, so now I've taken a white piece of cardstock, which is, let me make sure I'm telling you the right measurements, 5.25 by 4, and I've run it through the embossing machine to get my texture on my layer. Love that. It just adds so much to the background, right? Like you could add color to this, you can get out your blending brushes, you can do all kinds of fun things with that. Today we're keeping it super, super simple. Okay, so let me pull in my next piece I'm going to do is, let's see. Got to get myself organized here. All my little parts and pieces. All right, so I'm pulling in the Unbounded Love dies. These have been around for a bit, and I'm using this one right here to die cut this label here. Okay, so I want to stamp my sentiment on that, and I'm going to stamp over to the right side of it, and I'm just going to use Memento Black ink. So keeping it super simple. Again, you could use the navy, you could use Secret Sea, any color would work. But I'm keeping this easy, right? If you're just starting out stamping, my recommendation is to have a Memento Black ink pad, a Versamark ink pad because that will allow you to stamp tone on any color cardstock because it leaves a watermark. Plus, then when you're ready for heat embossing, you're already halfway there, right? Makes that super easy. But that is my favorite to start off with. And then maybe as you get more and more comfortable with things, you can go ahead and bring in some additional colors of ink, right? All right, so I'm going to lay this happy retirement. I know I'm going to put my boat over the top of this boat. So I'm going to lay this close to the edge. And it looks like I did okay on my stamping. I could have moved it over to the right just a bit more. But it looks like I just want to cut off that edge right there. So I'm going to go all in. I should have pulled out my paper trimmer and I didn't. I'm going to go all in and just clip that. I could have used the edge of my cardstock as a guide. I don't think I needed it because that kind of had a pretty good shape for me to follow. All right, so that piece is ready. Let's go ahead and create our boat. So for this one, I'm going to take that same boat image. Let me clean it because I've made a mess. Definitely clean it. Now, are you guys chamois fans or scrub and mist fans? I'm a scrub and mist kind of gal. So I'm old school. I'm going to spritz one side, grab my stamp, and I'm just going to rub it, get it all clean, and then I can dry it on the other side. It's ready to use. I like that. Now, I do have a chamois handy as well. I actually have the one for the glass mat that I could use if I want to. And then we've got that purple chamois. I don't love having a chamois because it's wet, and I don't like something wet on my desk surface. So that's why, but to each their own, right? It depends on what I'm doing. Using a stamp positioning tool, yes, I need my chamois. Okay, see some that use both, some scrub and mist, some chamois. All right. You know, the great thing is we all can do what works best for us, which I think is great. So many ways to go about things. All right, let's stamp this right down on here. Okay, now we're going to die cut that one out just as it is. And then I'm going to bring in, I'm going to just follow the same colors that I've used before. I'm bringing in my Blackberry Bliss because I love that color. And I'm going to ink this up again. And I really only need the sail. So I don't really have to stamp the bottom of the boat. So there's my sail on there. Now, this is when I need my chamois, right? I've gotten a little ink on my glass mat. Let's just go and get that out of our way. Okay. And then on the gray granite, not gray granite, I think this is basic gray actually. I'm going to stamp just the bottom of the boat. Looks like my Memento ink pad might need a little re-inking. All right. And again, we'll wipe off our mess that we just created with our chamois. Perfect. All right. How are we doing so far? You guys like this? Something you've done before? I love paper piecing. So we're going to go ahead and just clip that out. And I don't need that piece of paper anymore. And we're going to turn this one out. Now, you could run these through the dies and get the basic shape off if you wanted to. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut away some of the stamped line because I want the line that I stamped on the actual white cardstock to kind of be more prevalent. I don't think it matters really which way you go about it. It's personal preference, right? And just trying to change it up a little bit. So when I fussy cut, I try to use the depth of the scissor right down in here versus the point, a little more control, and I don't always do it, but I try to move the paper versus the scissor. Isn't that what you guys were taught when you were in elementary school? All right, so that's going to be my boat base. Okay, and then let's do the same thing with our sail. We're going to go ahead and cut this out as well. Now I'm going to cut this into two pieces because I want that white between the two sails. So this is getting really fine and little. Skinny, little skinny spot there. Okay. And then we're going to do this one as well. Yeah, let's cut that out. Why not? We'll make up our own lines if we need to. Okay. One more little cut here, and then we can adhere this down. All right. I am pulling out my silicone craft sheet for this because I will make a hot mess. I can guarantee it. Now, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of liquid glue. Although liquid glue is the right thing for this, because I've got my skinny points, I'm running my Stampin' Steel along those skinny points. Did you see that? I love the chamois because it's going to resist that adhesive, but yet I'm sticky all the way up. I could run it towards the bottom as well, but I think I'll fill in with liquid glue. But I knew that I was going to make too big of a mess if I tried to get liquid glue up in that really skinny point. I just don't do well with that. And so I figured out what works best for me and I adjust. Now you can also, because the liquid glue that we have, the Tombow liquid glue, this dries sticky, tacky. So you can let this completely dry and still adhere these to your project if you want to avoid glue ooze, right? So you can either go right all in or you can let it sit for a moment, right? Let's let it sit for a moment. Let's look at the inside and what we're going to do on the inside. So on the inside, I've got my sentiment stamped right on my white card base. That can be dangerous, as well as a little strip of designer paper. Again, keeping it simple, but yet bringing that touch to the inside to make that just a little extra special. So let's start with our card base here. While that's drying for a moment, we're going to open this up. I am going to lay this down as a guide. Okay. Let's grab our sentiment. And I'm going to ink it up with Memento black ink. What are you guys saying? Prepare your new Stampin'. Prepare your new Stampin' Scrub. Okay, so for me, when I get a brand new Stampin' Scrub, all I do is run it under water and kind of rub my hands. Let me see if I can grab it and show you what I mean. Sometimes the action helps. So I will run this under the sink and go like this with my hand just to get the loose fibers out and then let it dry. Like put it in the dish strainer, shake out as much water as I can, let it dry, and then I'll use it. Is that what you're asking? I hope that helps. That's what I do, right? All right, so we're gonna ink up our sentiment. I think I've got it crooked on my block. Let's reset it. All right, so when I've got these long skinnies, I just throw them down on the table and then take the block to it to pick it up in hopes that it will end up more straight. It might be curved a little, but we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna go with it either way. So again, using this paper as a guide, I don't want to stick it down yet because I want to be able to correct my mistake as needed. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. My U is a little like tilted down, but I think it's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. Now, what would I do if I mess this up? Well, that would now become the front of my card, right? Because we're gonna put a layer, so you could always put this to the front and cover it up, right? Oh, and then I stick my hand in black ink and get it all over the card. We might need to do that anyway. I think we're gonna need to restamp. Let's do it. Why not? Because I did. I literally put my hands. Can I wipe that off with a chamois? That's probably not a good choice. All right, let's try this again. We're gonna make this the front. Oh, and I did it even worse there. All right, we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it. I will have to go pull in my sand eraser and try to clean that up a little bit. All right, we're gonna go ahead, since we're on the inside, we're gonna go ahead and add this little strip down into our card. So this strip was 5 1/4 by 3/4. Okay. And then I'll take a sand eraser for that and try to help that out. Worst case scenario, you cut another piece of white and layer it inside, which is okay to do, right? There's all kinds of ways we can fix the little things that we mess up because we're paper crafting, we're having fun, and sometimes we make a little bit of a mess, don't we? Yeah, that's okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this layer up on the front. Let me grab my dimensionals. Yeah, we all have bloopers, right? Yeah, I don't cut those out. I just leave them. I'm human. I'm gonna make mistakes. And sometimes I just don't pay as much attention as I probably should when I'm crafting, right? I'm enjoying the experience, not necessarily thinking through every detail at all times. Yeah, you small oops, you put bling on it? Of course. Excellent, excellent. I like that. All right, so let's go ahead and put this, let's see if it's gonna cover. Oh, it is, yay! I love it when it works out like that. And Let's make sure I don't have more black on my, since I had quite the loveliness going on with that memento pad. I think I'll need to clean that pad a little bit. All right, so let's take our boat, if I can grab a hold of it. And now these have dried a little bit, so they're not going to get me the glue ooze that I was worried about, which I don't love personally. Now, if you do let it dry, you're not going to get as much shift. So those of you that love liquid glue because you like to be able to place it and slide it, if you let the liquid glue dry, you're not going to get quite the slide that you would if you went all in with it wet. Okay. Just want to let you know that. I love letting it dry a little bit. My friend Melissa Kerman taught us that back in our Maker's Mojo days. Someday maybe we'll do Maker's Mojo again. Life has taken a turn for some of our colleagues, so we're just patiently hanging out. All right, cute, right? Doesn't it add so much fun, depth, and dimension? Now you could have colored that in, we could have stamped it, we could have done so many different things, but I love, 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 love how simple this is. And just that white on white, there's something so sophisticated about that, beautiful about that, simple. And then we just add this great focal point that's just going to pop up off the page. So let's grab some more of our dimensionals. So we've used this same big boat twice. We're going to switch it up on the next one. There are actually 3 different boats that you can use in this set. 3 different sizes. Dun, dun. So if I didn't mention it, this is the same bundle that we are using for our July Cultivated Creativity, which is my DIY paper crafting kit. And I have 8 spots left. So if anybody's interested in joining us for that, that's not already a subscriber, I'd love for you to join us. So we curate a beautiful kit every single month, has your consumable supplies in it, plenty so that you can do more with it. And you can use what you can use the featured bundle or you don't have to, right? You can make it your own. It's entirely up to you. It is a full PDF tutorial with lots of details. It's not a skimpy PDF tutorial. Pictures in there. I do a video overview. I don't do a video for each project, assembling each project. So you don't really need them. They're simpler cards, at least in my opinion. And there's 4 cards and 1 not a card. And our not a card, if it's a treat holder of some sort, your treat is included. Yes, you can either put it in the holder or eat it, whatever makes you happy. And sometimes it's not an editable treat, not an editable. I'm not saying that word right. You can't always eat it. How about that? All right, let's go ahead and sprinkle on some more of these little dots here. So this time I'm pulling in the clear ones because I'm on this great white card and I just want it to be subtle. So I'm going to put 3 up there and then let's add a couple more down here. Why not? Cute. What do you think? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And again, any color, and we were able to fix our boo-boo by adding our layer. I love it. Love it. All right, 2 down. 1 more. Editable was right. Okay, I feel like I'm adding in an extra syllable or something in there. So it's sounding strange to me. All right. Our 3rd and final project is this one here, and I love this as well. Again, keeping it super, super simple. I'm going to start off with a crumb cake card base. Again, 5.5 by 8.5. We're going to fold this in half. Now, when I was cutting for this, I was actually out of the colors in the same print. So I'm swapping them out, and you guys will have to let me know which one you like better in the end. So what I mean by that is, see how I had the stripe in the pecan and the kind of splattery in the crumb cake? We're going to switch it. We're going to do the stripe in the crumb cake, and we're going to do the splattery in the pecan pie. So this piece measures, let's see, 5.25 by 3 inches. Okay. Now we could have used the other side of this paper, but I feel like with this stamp set, this is what made the most sense to me. All right, I have to do this upside down. Is that weird? Do you guys have to do things upside down? I don't do as well when I'm lining stuff up if it's that way. There we go. Pretend I didn't do it. Yay. All right, now I have die cut a couple of rectangles. These are the textured notes dies. I love these. Absolutely love these. So they're a set of rectangles and they have really cool textures on the edges of them, which is always one of my favorites. So the pecan pie was cut out of this one, the third largest. Okay. And then the white one was cut out of the third smallest. So I've got one that hijacked over here, 2, 3. Yeah. And then you got the long skinny. I know, I name things however I want to name them. Hopefully they make sense to someone other than just myself. All right, so I am going to bring in another piece of designer paper and we're going to layer it right on to this pecan pie layer. I'm liking that already. I don't know if it matters which direction. So this piece measures 3 7/8 by 2 3/8. We're going to go ahead and adhere that down right in the center of that rectangle. Yeah, I'm glad you like that die set. Yeah, it's one of my favorites as well. It's such a good one. All right, now I'm going to put this down and I'm going to pop it up. But before I do that, I'm just going to set that aside. I think I need to stamp my sentiment first on this because I just think it's probably my better option. So let's pull in Early Espresso. Now you could stamp this in pecan, you could stamp this in black. It's entirely up to you, really. A coordinating color that you like, that you happen to have. I chose Early Espresso because I wanted to tie it into the die cut of the boat base there. But again, you could change that color. I was going all neutral browns. So let's see if I can get this somewhat centered and all the way over to the left. Yay! Turned out good. I'm happy. All right, so then this I'm going to adhere flat on here. So we'll just grab a little bit of our Stampin' Seal, put this flat. Yeah, I like this paper as well. I agree. It's such a good set of prints, especially with this bundle, but I've used it for so many things and I love it. It's great with flowers and all kinds of great things. All right, let's put this down with dimensionals. Why not? Pop it up. If I pop up too much stuff for you, don't pop yours up, right? You don't have to have it popped up just because I do. I just like it. I like it a lot. So I do it all the time. All right. Now I'm looking at this and where do you want to put it? Do you want it centered top to bottom? I think what I'm going to do is I am looking at this side and this side and this side, and I'm making those three somewhat equal. So I'm a little further up than I am down here. But I like that. I think that looks pretty good. Hopefully you guys like that too. Okay, next. Let's pull in our dies again, if I can find where I keep putting them. All right, so we want to cut, and I've already done this actually. So I cut this boat here, right out of this little piece of Early Espresso here. Okay. And then I've taken a scrap of my designer paper. And again, since I swapped these, I did this in the crumb cake. Okay. And because I didn't have that spacey print in the crumb cake, I used the stripe. So we'll see how this turns out, right? It might be great. And that's this boat sail right here. Okay. So it might be fantastic or it may be terrible. Let's find out, right? We don't know until we try it. Let me pull in. I thought I was done with it, but let's pull in our pecan pie ink again. And this time I'm going to stamp this sail. And this doesn't line up exactly, right? And that's okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of mask this off. I only want it on the left sail. I don't want it on the right sail. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to fold this paper back. Hopefully I'm in camera. Let me make sure I am. Let's move this out of the way just for now, right? So I'm laying this down on my scrap paper and I'm folding the scrap paper back. Now you could use a sticky note. You could use some painter's tape. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could do to mask this. This is what I've chosen to do. I'm going to ink this up in pecan pie and I am going to line this up sort of because it doesn't line up exactly. It's not intended necessarily to be used with this particular sail. I could have done it a little bit more to the left, but it's very similar to my original one. So I'm going to be happy with it. What do you guys think? Would you use that way? Just changes it up a little bit. Just trying to add a little more depth to that. Good? Yay. All right, now get rid of that scrap paper. And let's see, let's go ahead and adhere this down, and I'm going to adhere this flat. Let's grab our little liquid glue here. How are we doing on time? We're doing great on time, I think. If I can get done in an hour, that's my goal. I'm close. I think we might be done in an hour-ish. How about that? It was running closer to an hour and 45, so I've kind of streamlined it down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down. Now, I love to cross my layers like this. I think that's cool. I don't know if there's a real design rule on that or not, but I like it. So I've got my sail going up a little bit past, and I've got this one going a little bit past that. So I think that looks really, really nice. And then I'm going to pop this up on top, right? Let's change it up. So this is the medium boat, or what I would call the medium boat. Let's see if we've got any minis. Do I have any minis? I don't think I put minis on the supply list. You could cut off the edge of your regular dimensionals. Got a full sheet on this one too. I like that. Love new sheets of dimensionals. Little things make me happy. Okay, we'll take the backing paper off. I just did littles so that I could get up a little closer to the point while I pop this up. Now you could have die cut this. You could have put foam adhesive on the back and then die cut it and had the foam all the way. You know what I mean by that? It would be nice as well. Cute. All right, let's sprinkle on some gems here. Now, I'm going to use the yellow ones on this because they're so soft, and I think it's going to look good on this crumb cake base. It's what I did on the first one. So, you know, I'm going for it. And I'm going to be excessive about them. I want several on here. So we'll sprinkle on a couple here. Another little set of 3. And then let's put a little set of 3 down here at the bottom as well. Put one there, and then maybe a couple littles. How about there? And how about there? Cute. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's bring our design to the inside. So I've got a piece of basic white, 5 1/4 by 4. And again, I've got a little strip of my designer series paper. This is 3/4 by 4. And we're just going to adhere that just to bring that touch to the inside. Again, you could do something more elaborate, but we're keeping it simple today. And I think I'm going to leave a little white space. We'll have to look and see if I did that on the original. Depends on what my mood is. You could add a sentiment to the inside. I'm not going to on this one. And you can put your designer paper on the right side, on the left side, whatever makes you happy. I think this one I'm going to put on the right. I think the other one's on the left. We'll see. We'll open it and check it out in just a moment. And I'm a little long and I didn't cut it off, but I'm going to say I did that intentionally. What do you think? All right, here was the original. Yep, I put it on the left. I did leave the white space as well. Okay, so you guys have to tell me. Do you like it better with the splatterish there and the stripe there, or the stripe here and the splatterish there? Left or right, maybe the easier way to say it, right? Makes sense? All right, so here's our projects again. So this was the third one. This was the second one. And this was the first one. Perfect. I'm going to switch the camera back and I'll talk to you for just a moment before we end our time together, right? Let's see if I can get it to do that. Yay! I got it to work. Perfect. So I'll make sure I go back and look at the comments and see if you guys had any questions that I didn't answer. Yeah, so don't forget there is a order special you can take advantage of. You don't have to, but if you want to, I'd love it. It supports my business and I appreciate that. Don't hesitate to reach out if you've got any questions. I'm here to support you however I can. And I very much thank you all for being part of my crafting community. And I'm excited to keep creating, sharing, and inspiring each other. All right. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I will see you again soon. All right. Bye for now.